Fear and greed run through the wire. Candles climb and then expire. Our edges cut from the profile, sharp and clean by every buyer. He conquers the markets, he turns water into wine. His timing flows where chaos turns divine. Cut sharp enough to time the sun. Yeah, this man's no common trader. He commands the market's numbers. We call him Chef Bailey. The market bends beneath his flame. Fear and greed run through the wire. Candles climb and then expire. Our edges cut from the profile, sharp and clean by every buyer. Markets move, they twist and swing. Every tick can burn or bring. Ryan keeps calm, he trusts his thing. The charts tell him everything. But when T1 makes ding, 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 the futures spread their hidden wing. And he is ready for anything. Vic's still looking like a restless king.
Traders, stop stressing over the S&P 500. Get structured daily outlooks, levels and actionable setups for ES futures, delivered before the market opens. Plus weekly insights on crypto, stocks, and commodities. Subscribe today on Substack. Conquer the markets.
Oh, what's up? It's nice to see everybody. I'm going to say it again. I say it every day. It was a great day. I hope everyone had an amazing day. If you were following the plan, just the title alone should have helped you out today big time. And we're going to go over it. I'm super excited to do today because, we were in a really interesting predicament this morning. We were what I call the sandwich. We were above our 68.80 and we were below the 69.03. And I was a little teetering on exactly which way I thought we could go, but we're going to discuss exactly what happened today, how we played it, and how you can use this to your benefit. So tomorrow, as trade plan comes out, you can understand how to use these a little bit better. And for those of you guys who are in the room today, congratulations, you crushed it. We had an awesome day again. The Discord room continues to pay dividends. If you guys are paid subscribers, hit me up, come in the Discord room. We are actually just doing our thing in there. I've got a whole team of killers who are waiting on you to join the pack. So looking forward to having you guys in here. We have had some exponential growth lately. I mean, it's just unbelievable. Every day we're getting new subscribers, new paid subscribers. I couldn't be more happy, and other people couldn't be more happy. I've been getting so many DMs, so thank you guys for reaching out. I tell you, your comments to me and, your appreciation for my work keep me going. So thank you so much because, sometimes I wonder if anybody's actually trading the plans, they're paying attention, but lo and behold, there's a lot of people trading these plans and there's a lot of people making money. Oh, there's my mom. You see her back there? Hey, Mom. Good to see you. All right. So let's go ahead and get right into it. Right now, we are going to do right here. Follow me across all socials here. We got YouTube, X, TradingView, and Substack. Ryan Bailey Edge across all the socials. I'm very, very active on Substack and X a little bit. I really try to cater to my Substack crew because that's where I'm getting all this love right now. So I really kind of parlay to you guys. I'm putting out some really strong posts lately, not just the trade plans, but we also have some really good notes coming out, which is like a Twitter post, but really also we have some other content, or I have other content that I'm doing. It's outside the trade plans. It's more macro stuff and fundamental stuff that everybody really should be paying attention to. So if you get a chance, it's all free. This is even for the free people. Get on there and take a look. You don't have to pay to read all this stuff. Basically, the only thing I have on the free side is the trade plans. Everything else is really just about it's there for your benefit. So take advantage of it for sure. What's up, Matt? JL, what up, JL? Good to see you, buddy. Okay, and Costas. All right, so we got a whole bunch of people in here today. Unfortunately, the streaming thing, I don't know what happened yesterday. I believe that Hang on 1 second. It's all good. As you guys know, I'm streaming at mom's house, so doing things a little different here. So, actually, look at her running. So, yeah, I don't even remember what I was going to say now, but let's just go ahead and get right into it. So, let's start as usual. We have the market context. So, let's just kick it off with this. All right. So, this is right at the beginning. We obviously have the title, which I said kind of set it all for everybody. We had the double bottom and the 6903 pivot, right? So as you guys know, I was super bearish coming into this week for the weekend review. Everything played out just exactly like we thought. So we had SPX sweep, we had ES, move below its leg low as well. And so, we're starting to really kind of get some momentum here back to the upside. Do I think that this is over? I don't know what to think, honestly. We just kind of take it day by day. But right now, the momentum is definitely still in the favor of the bears, in my opinion. So we have the 6880 momentum shift and the massive 6903 resistance wall. So right here, check it out. Current market context, the double bottom potential versus the downside trend. Okay, so this is where I kind of get a little conflicting information. I try to lay this out to you guys as clear as possible so that you can understand my perspective. And basically, this is how it works, right? We still have gained nothing on the daily time frame, 4-hour time frame, and the weekly time frame. We lost on all these time frames, which means I'm pointed down, right? However, as of right now, the ES has held the leg low. It could potentially be making a double bottom, which I'm going to show you here real soon, exactly what I mean by that. And then, of course, I got the sandwich, right? So the sandwich was, we had the 6904 above us at the time of writing, right? And actually right now as well. So above that, the momentum is in the favor of the bulls, right? But below 6880, things shift significantly back in the favor of the bears. And we have talked about this so many times. I mean, we have revisited this week after week after week. And these same levels continue to be important as these are major weekly leg ends. These are major momentum shift levels. What's up, Alex? Good to see you, buddy. Glad to see you made it. All right. So as we shift over into the final thoughts, check this out. So this is underneath the paywall here. This is all for the free guys. You guys can all read this coming in. You kind of get my little bias in the morning. And then for everybody who's read the trade plan, I try to recap everything. So I say right here, of course, we still not gained on any time frame, right? Technically speaking, all things point to more down. However, the ES has held the leg low and could potentially be making a double bottom. Right? This is why we need to be extremely careful and monitor our pivots. Know that above 6904, we push higher and the momentum is in the favor of the bulls. But below 6880, things shift significantly to the bears, right? Watch VIX for guidance. And this is going to come into play big time here shortly, okay? So let me show you right now what I mean by the double bottom, right? So this is our massive 4-hour time frame. This is a huge leg. As you guys know, we were short this whole area up here. We were able to ride this down. We've actually called all this price action. We had the sweep on Monday or Tuesday, I guess it was. And this has just been so textbook for us. But right now we're holding this leg. So as you can see, what happens, right? Like, what is the possibility? Well, right now, I am still technically, based on my process, I have to lean to the downside. Okay. We still are in negative gamma territory. We have lost on all the time frames. But again, we're holding the lows. And a lot of times when this type of price action happens, we can come all the way back up here. We could clean this whole downside move up, which is a massive inefficiency. And I'll just show you what that looks like on the profile. Like, look at this. This was a massive inefficiency. Today we pushed up here and we cleaned up this area, which is the 23, which we'll talk about here shortly. But we still have this big inefficient area that takes us all the way up to 60. So I'm not like oblivious to the fact that that's a possibility, especially with holding the low here. We could have seen the bottom on this push down and they could retrace. But again, right now my process still tells me to defer to the downside, but we know above or below our pivots are where we really need to pay attention. And they've played so many times today, it's been beautiful. So we'll go ahead and get right into it. So the very first trade of the day, check this out. So this is crazy. This is crazy. Actually, before I show you that, let's go over here. So let's do this one right here. So I told you VIX was going to come into play. It's going to be important. We had the major 1952 line of defense, right? This was the daily. This is where we opened at right here. You can see this is where we're chilling, right? This is at the time of writing. This is, I don't know, maybe 8 o'clock in the morning, maybe, I don't know, a little early, 7 something. And so I have this big above below here, 1952, right? So the headwind, if VIX holds this area and pushes up, we get a headwind on the indices, which means it goes down, right? The tailwind, if price moves below 1952, the VIX pullback would give the indices relief, right? It's tailwind. Right? So the next level of the one level, right? You hear me? The one level that I had for support was 1858. And that could perhaps play to reclaim 1952. You remember that. We're going to come back to this because it is super, super important, right? This is actually has everything to do with our short today. It was incredible. Ross, how you doing, buddy? Ross Bernstein in the house. Dylan Porter, good to see you. Michael, I think talked to you today quite a bit today, Michael. I'm glad you could make it, buddy. This is exactly how you use the plan, my man. So check it out. This is good stuff. So this is where I'm kicking it off right here. I always start with fix. So pay attention. Here's our very first long of the day, very first trade, very first support. Let me find it here. Where am I at? Here we go. Look what I put right here. The only true buy. I'm not sure it gets any clearer than that, guys. The only true buy. 68, 62 potential 4 hour. 58 was the yesterday's point of control. And then we had the massive monthly at 57, right? This is my only true area that I would consider a buy. How could it be any more self-explanatory? Trade by numbers or trade by numbers, people. It's crazy, right? Paint by numbers. Got my little Bob Ross thing out over here. It's exactly what this is, right? See the actionable setup? I want to see price get back above 68.70 for continuation and ultimately above 68.80 for the push higher. What did we play? Look at that, to the tick, right? So this thing sent us all the way up. At the time I took this picture, like we were still underneath the 03. But look how high this thing took us up today. It took us all the way up to 24, right? This was a monster, right? And what did I say right here? Look, can you see that? The only true buy. Because why? Because below this, momentum shifts extremely hard in the favor of the bears. I had nothing else left to buy under that. They either held that and gassed it, or we were coming down to make new lows. And they held it and they gassed it. And so it was absolutely just, they squeezed everybody's balls on the way up today. But if you knew exactly what pivot to take advantage of, it worked out perfect. So check this out. So let's see. What do I got? 68, 62. Oh, here was the other thing. This is crazy. And again, you guys know I call out Edgeful every day. You know, I'm sponsored by these people. We're beyond an affiliate, relationship with these guys. I love this platform. They are amazing. And I talked about a ridiculous short that we had yesterday. They gave us 100% probability of a downside target, which of course I took, and we all cleaned up on that yesterday. But then look at this again, right? So this is the 68.62, the only true buy, right? And then look at this. I'm telling everybody right here, this had 100% chance of a breakout on a Wednesday with a potential target at 68.8375. 100% chance, guys. I mean, come on. This is 2 days in a row where we've had 100% probability of something happening. Are you kidding me? Like, unbelievable statistics. This platform is $50 and it has paid for itself like 1,000 times over for me and everybody else in the room. Absolutely unbelievable. I don't need to tell you that this actually worked out perfect because I showed you this right here. We came all the way up to 24, right? So unbelievable statistic. Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Big props to Edgeful. Andre, I love you. You're the man. And Andre is the guy who created this. Unbelievable. So here we go. So this was my setup here, right? So we had this big resistance zone, right? We talked about it. It's right in the trade plan, right? This was the title of the trade plan. I know you guys remember what it is right here, right? Title of the trade plan. The double bottom watch and the 69.03 pivot, right? Very simple, right? You know that above 04, we push higher and the momentum is in the favor of the bulls, right? So here we go. I wrote it for everybody again. But here's where it becomes very important, right? If price pushes above this level, momentum shifts to the bulls, and we could easily clean up the weekly singles up to 69.23, right? So boom, we pop up here. I wait, right? I tell everybody in the Discord room, nice break above 03. I waited to see if we could clean up these singles, right? I'm already in this, okay? I just get in one card because I'm not a really big breakout trader. Obviously, I try to catch the momentum, but I really prefer retests. That's just who I am. So whenever I trade a breakout, I always go small because I suck at breakouts. I'll just be honest. I'm not good at them, right? But in this situation, it worked kind of. So check this out. This is funny. So this was my 1 hour chart. This is my 5 minute chart. I show everybody, look, here's where my stop is. It was 5 points. Here's my target. At this point, it was like 20 points or 18 points, something like that. And I tell everybody, like, we can clean these singles up. Well, I know you're probably thinking, what singles, right? Well, I showed them to you in the beginning. Here they are. Here was the singles on this profile, and I was aiming for this right here. Of course, I'm showing everybody in the room as I'm doing this stuff because it's important to keep everybody in tune with what's happening. I mean, I'm literally training guys in the room to use my process, to use the plan, and everybody is just doing their thing, but I have to show them how to do it as well. So right here, we had a nice little pullback, as you can see, and I told them, I added on the retest, right? Let's see if we can clean these singles up, right? So what do? We pop up. We hit our first target, right, which was the new local high. And where did we go to? Well, you guys already know we cleaned up these singles because I showed you the 4-hour candle that went all the way to 24. So what an amazing breakout. We also had the retest, which I could have easily waited for, and I probably should have. But thankfully, I had my stop in the right place, and I was able to add and turned that, $780 or $800 win into let's see, 800 plus 5. What is that? I don't know, $1,300, $1,400. It was a nice win, right? So this was a great breakout trade here, right off of our level, right off of the trade plan title. This was a monster. This was an absolute monster, okay? So I'm going to go ahead. So I have some more here that I wanted to show, and there's a sequence here that I wanted to do this. As I was making this, I was thinking about this. Hang on one second. Let me think about this. Went straight by 23. SPX long. Okay. No, that's not it. Okay. All right. Maybe that's it. Okay. So that's okay. So check this out. All right. So as we're coming up here, I'm basically like looking at this 23 real hard. Now, what's unfortunate is what I do is, just to let you guys know, I actually, every morning I transcript my breakdown, right? So I sit here, I look at the charts, and I chart everything out. I take pictures for you guys, and I basically write I don't write it. I actually transcript like a 3-pager. I feed it into Gemini, and usually 99% of the time it's great. Well, this time it actually, we talked about filling the singles up to 23, right? So let me find that spot here again. Oh, where are we at? Where's the breakout above 03? Here we go. It could easily clean the weekly singles up to 23. Well, I actually had another section there that was supposed to show the short from 23, the resistance level, and the actual setup. For whatever reason, it didn't make it in. So this is where being in the Discord room actually works out well. And I was actually talking to Michael as this happened, which was pretty funny. So let me show you this. So right here, we're coming into 23, right? And I actually, let me show you this first. So we're talking in the room, and I show everybody right here, here's the 23 I'm looking at, and I show everybody why I'm interested in it. I didn't capture that for this particular instance here, but you can clearly see I point at this and I was like, yeah, it was played really nice from the top down. So this makes me want to short it from the bottom up, right? Was once formerly support, then becomes resistance. Makes perfect sense, right? That's the whole concept behind our strategy, right? So, and I think that's just common sense and common economics. So here we go. And now you can see here, and I was telling everybody in the room, and I didn't capture that I was short. Actually, I could probably just pull it over and show you what's cooking. And let's see. Here we go. And I try to keep everybody, like I said, abreast of what's happening, right here. They actually missed my first go. Here we go. So right here, I tell everybody, I'm 2 points late, risking 5 to make 10. We shall see. Right? They pop back up. I tell them, look, I added up here, slow and steady. We'll see. Then, of course, yes, I'm still in this, kind of giving everybody ideas of where my targets are at, where my stops are at. At this point, I'm only risking 5 points, right? My first target was 10. My second target was 15 points, or maybe it was 14. This was a great trade. This was a risk $500 for me to make $1,300, I think. So it wasn't quite, wasn't quite 15 points, but it was close. So like 13 points. Great stuff. Loved this, right? So here was the other logic. So I showed you the 4-hour chart where it had the test from above. Now I want to short below. So here was the other thing, right? VIX, right? We talked about VIX. I told you guys, remember this level, right? So check this out. Right here, we have the tailwind. We have one level of support at 1858 that they could perhaps play to reclaim 1952. So, of course, I'm telling everybody, hey, look, VIX is getting a little love, right? We're in our spot. I'm long here, or I'm short here because VIX is starting to pop. What happened? You guys know we came down with a fury. They actually dumped this thing about 50 points, which was insane, right? And let's see if I actually have this area here. Let me just go ahead and show you this. Let's just show you what this looks like. Wrong one. Here we go. Here you go. So here we go. Here is the 1952. The 1858 pivot right here. They could perhaps play and reclaim 1952. So what happened? We broke 1952 at the open. We got our push. We came right down and played 1858. And what did they do? They popped right up, voila, and reclaimed the 1952, just like the trade plan said. Everything here is laid out to the T. These levels are playing perfectly. The actionable setups are perfect. All you have to do is follow the plan. So far, you have not seen me talk about a trade where I had more than a 5-point stop. I literally don't need it. If we get more than 5 points, I get a little scared because then I'm like, oh, maybe my level's not working. I mean, that is how precise that our stuff can be. Now, sometimes I'll push my stop to 7.5, whatever, depending on structure, but this is legit how it works, right? So, I mean, for those of you guys who are in the room, you guys know what this is. I mean, this is every day we do this, and, you know, we play precision. That's what this is all about. This really is built around prop traders and helping guys pass prop funds. That is what this is. So here is the next part, guys. This is good stuff. Let me see here. Oh, this is out of context, but this was in the morning. As you can see, I was telling everybody, look, VIX is moving down. SPX is breaking out. Nice above 03. Oh, well, out of context. All right. So next thing here. Here is the next part, right? So let me find this. So this was in the Discord, guys. Unfortunately, this obviously couldn't be in the trade plan because it hadn't happened yet. So as we're coming down, look at this short from our 23. That's the area right there. They actually popped a new high and they ended up dumping. And I'm not gonna lie to you guys. They did me dirty. I actually sat in this short for 2 hours waiting for this to come down. I ended up leaving because I had some things to take care of personally. I left after they popped the high because I'm like, it's going to continue to go up. I'll just deal with this later. I come back and we're down here. God, unbelievable. Could not believe it. But anyways, there's always going to be rotation, right? So missed the 50 points, but the level played great. We had every reason to believe it was going to happen with VIX and so on and so forth. But here's the kicker. And here's where being in the Discord room helps. This is where the Discord room pays dividends. Let me show you what's up. So I tell everybody there's a potential reaction zone at 68, 73, 75, right? So I even pointed out for everybody right here. This is after the fact, obviously, but I called it before the fact. And I took this trade myself, played the 68, 73, 75, played it perfect. But not only did they play it, look at this. Unbelievable. They played here, popped up. Looks like they paid about 13 points, came down, barely swept the low, but held it, had big buyers jump in, and then they just absolutely launched it for another 30 points at the end of the day, into the close. And the trade plan once again scored. Everybody in the Discord room scored. This was an incredible day. We had VIX leading the way for us. It was once again a great, indicator for us to play the inverse, as the levels for VIX were great. We had the 1952 above below. We had the $18 handle level for, the support, which obviously gave us, the confidence to short this, even though it took forever, even though they basically shook me out in a sense. I ended up getting my first 2 targets, but I wanted deep. I wanted the money. I'm always in it for the meat. They didn't let me get it today. I was certainly disappointed on that short. But, hey, we don't get to win them all. So that is how it went today. The trade plan was absolutely stellar. So that's essentially it for the day on the trade plan. We still have a lot of time left. So I guess what we'll have to do is take a look at what is going to happen. Let's see here. Let's see. Michael's got a question. He said, if 1857 was where the Bears take control of where your morning entry and where your stop was. Michael, I basically said I don't have any stops that are over 5 points. We talked about that as well in here a couple times. I've showed you a couple trades already where I don't have stops bigger than 5 points because I don't need them, right? This also allows me to put on a significant amount of size when we come into these levels, because 5 points is extremely risk management. And then, I'm always looking for at least 2 to 1, 10-point targets at least, usually more, as you can tell. But like even in that short over here, let's see, I'll show you just to kind of show you exactly what I mean by that. I had a 5-point stop. My first target right here was 10 points. And that was, and then I take my runner down. So I always take 2 to 1 on my first one. Then I go to break even. And I let the other one kind of ride out to my target. If I'm only trading 2 contracts, usually I'll trade a little bit more than that, but 5 points is where it's at. That's just keeps us safe, keeps our risk tight. And, you know, it makes it so that you can pass these prop firms. So, or trade cash, whatever, it doesn't matter. But obviously we have a lot of prop firm traders. So I try to, you know, appeal to that crowd because, you know, that's where all the money's at right now. Guys can run 10 accounts, 20 accounts, and they're just doing their thing. So kind of fun stuff here. The trade plans are always putting out beautifully. So right now, let's go ahead and take a look. We got a few minutes left. I still got 5 minutes, and I'm just going to shoot you from the hip here. I have not looked at these markets at all since I've been back. I've been actually working on some other things here. So let's go ahead and take a look and see what we got. So what do we think we're going to do here? Right. So right now we still have not gained on anything. And I really, truly believe that our massive areas, oh, hang on, let's go over here. So we know that above 04 momentum shifts, right? That is a given, right? And below 80, that is our downside momentum shift at first. And then of course we have the 57. Underneath 57, it all breaks. So just looking at the 4 hour, because now that I'm thinking about this, we have no untested support below us as of right now. So if they move below essentially this 68.73, and this is based on the charts as of right this very second, anything can happen in the overnight action. I'll be interested to see what happens, but just hiding all this stuff, I have nothing underneath 68.73. If they want to flush, if we open underneath this area, we will more than likely come down and make new lows for tomorrow. However, if they stay above this area and ultimately 03, we can continue to retrace this leg and come much higher. I still have some untested daily resistance up here at 30, which I don't really love. I don't know if you guys can see this right here, but it even says watch, not my favorite, right? Not my favorite. Okay. And I'll tell you guys that in the trade plan as well. I do like this 38 spot. Would like to see that come lower, but really be careful shorting above 03, guys. This is our big spot. But again, if they push below this, then we start to, you know, lose momentum. And underneath 80 and ultimately 73 now, she's a duster. So that's where I'm going to leave it because it's hard to speculate on what's going to happen in the overnight action. That's why I always like to put the plans out early in the morning for you guys. That way it kind of, you know, at least speculation out of it. That way we can see exactly where we're at, exactly what we need to play, what the overnight did. I'm a firm believer that the overnight session sets up the cash session. And so with that being said, that's what I trade, right? I trade where the volume's at. I trade when the plan is in action, and I leave everything else outside of that. So I really appreciate everyone showing up today. It's been phenomenal. I will be here tomorrow again. Tomorrow's Thursday. Yep. Tomorrow, same time, same channel. And for trade plan holders, I will have it out to you at 8:30 in the morning. You guys have a fantastic day, and I appreciate you conquering the markets with me. We will do it again tomorrow. Cheers.